Yo, what's good, everyone? This is Ayo Boxing from Madiba, and we're here to talk about Yordenis Ugas being ordered to fight Mario Barrios. So recently, the news broke that the WBC has ordered Ugas, who's ranked number 2 in the WBC, to fight Barrios, who's ranked number 5 in the WBC, for the interim welterweight WBC belt. This fight is scheduled for some time in July, and to be honest, this is something that I did not expect. I don't think anyone was expecting this to happen, but I think this is a good fight. And I also think this fight will be good for the entire welterweight division. The reason why I think this is a good fight is because it's essentially a crossroads fight. This fight will answer the questions and doubts concerning Ugas and Barrios. We'll get to see if Ugas is still the same fighter after the damage he took in his last fight, and we'll get to see if Barrios is capable of competing at the highest levels at welterweight. The boxing world has been waiting for Ugas' return ever since he was brutally stopped in the 10th round when he fought Spence last year. Spence broke Ugas' orbital bone, and Ugas took a lot of damage in that fight. Ugas is a good fighter, but the type of punishment he received in that Spence fight can have an effect on his abilities, such as his punch resistance. You also have to remember that Ugas is 36 years old, so his best years might be behind him now. Barrios, on the other hand, just came off a rebound win against Jovine Santiago at welterweight. In his prior 2 fights, Barrios was stopped by Tank at 140, and then he was outboxed by Keith Thurman at welterweight. Barrios had a good performance against Santiago, but Santiago is not a true welterweight. Barrios essentially beat up a 140-pounder. When Barrios fought a true welterweight, which was Keith Thurman, he got outboxed and he got hurt several times. So, Barrios' abilities at welterweight are still questionable. The winner of this fight will be propelled into title contention, and the loser will most likely be relegated to gatekeeper status. With these type of stakes, it should be a good-ass fight. And the reason why I think this fight is good for the welterweight division is because it will bring some motion back to the welterweight division. For the last 2 years, the welterweight division has been very stagnant, largely due to the politics that prevented the 2 champions from fighting each other, which is Spence and Crawford. This has caused the contenders to take low-risk fights and wait for their turns to fight for the belts. Thus, there's been no compelling nor interesting fights being made at welterweight. But Ugas and Barrios fighting for an interim WBC belt is a risky and interesting fight, which will then allow more riskier and interesting fights at welterweight. The winner of this fight will most likely be ordered to defend their interim belt against the winner of Cody Crowley versus Abel Ramos. Crowley, who's ranked number 3 in the WBC, and Ramos, who's ranked number 6 in the WBC, are guys that have been waiting and have been looking to move up in the ranks to fight for a belt. Hopefully, we'll get more situations like this because the welterweight division definitely needs more motion. The question is, can Ugas beat Barrios? And yes, I think Ugas has the style to give anyone trouble. He's a very technical, defensively responsible Cuban boxer with a good jab and counterpunching ability. Ugas' style can offset the aggressive boxer-puncher style that Barrios has. We've seen it done in the past against guys like Abel Ramos and Omar Figueroa. But if Ugas does not show up at 100%, Barrios, who's the younger fighter and also the more hungrier fighter, the fighter that has something to prove, can definitely pull off a win. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing from Madiba. Hit like and subscribe, and more content's coming your way.